Hello, everybody. Welcome to this broadcast with your host, Coach Lucas, or Luke, or Lucas, however you want to call me. This is a very quick review. We'll do an in-depth review later on, but this is just to review the first test. An incredible test match, actually. Probably first of five that are going to be very good. As this test match was very, very good. Brilliant run chase by England. They win this test match by 5 wickets. Chase down 370, unbelievable total, led by Ben Duckett, who scored 100 in the fourth innings, led by Joe Root, who scored a 50 in the fourth innings. Jamie Smith hitting the winning runs. So we're just going to have a little 5 to 10 minute quick review. We'll do the longer review later on in the week before the second test match. So we'll get into it just a little bit. England won the toss. They actually surprised everyone. They decided to bowl first. There was questions raised about that. Did they make the right decision? Should have they bowled first or whatnot? But in the end, it was a right decision from Ben Stokes, didn't they? Because they won the game in the end. They got there. So yeah, India batted first. The best player, no doubt, was Richard Punt in this game. Twin hundreds. He made 200s. Richard Punt. Shubman Gill also made 100. Jaiswal also made 100. There was a lot of hundreds hit in this test match. Ollie Pope also hit 100. Ben Duckett, as we just said, hit 100. Harry Brook almost one away from 100, hit 99. But India did win the toss. They put up a good total. Good total, not excellent, but good. Ben Stokes led the way with the ball. Ben Stokes, bowled a lot of overs in that first innings. I think he took 4 wickets. Josh Tongue cleaned up Josh Tongue did not have a good test match, but what Josh Tongue did was very important to help England win this test match. Josh Tongue took care of the tail. For a lot of years, the England bowlers struggled with tails. We saw that in the recent series against Australia with Lyon and Cummins and Stark. They really struggled to get out of tail, but Josh Tongue did this twice in this test match. So probably they found a role for him. Carson was very good today. Brendan Carson was very good. Sorry, not today, but this test match. Wokes was a bit meh, probably not the pitch that suited him. Jadeja, we'll go through the bowlers. Jadeja tried hard in the fourth innings. Probably should have had some wickets. Probably should have got more wickets than he actually got. Bumrah was fantastic in that first innings. When he bowled, he picked up a fifer. Another fifer for Jasper Bumrah. Just getting ridiculous now, isn't it, with him? Krishna picked up some wickets in that first innings. Second innings, he picked up a couple of wickets. Siraj, I thought, bowled well without luck. The second innings today, he bowled very good today. Probably not as good in the first innings. But it was a pitch made for runs. It really was. That's what Bazball is all about. That's what you're going to get in England from now on. You're not going to get seam-friendly wickets anymore. You're not going to get green tops, like we've seen opposite of Australia. More green tops in Australia, less green tops in England. So you're not going to get those green tops in England anymore. You're going to get flat, hard wickets that suit their game so they can go 5 and over, 6 and over, like they did today. 10 years ago, if you said England were going to chase this down, you'd be absolutely mad to even suggest they'll chase this down. But because of the Bazball, the way they are aggressive, the way they want to rush the bowler, the bowling attack, is quite incredible. How they played Jasper Bumrah today was fantastic. Jasper Bumrah did not bowl bad in the second innings. The problem is that he just didn't pick up wickets. They negated him very well. They didn't play at him. They didn't take risks with him. And he just didn't get any wickets. I thought Gill's captaincy was pretty poor, in my opinion, this whole test match. I thought India's fielding was very poor in this test match. up until the second innings where they did seem to take their catches. I thought Gill's captaincy today was very poor. I don't know why Bumrah did not bowl with 30 runs to go. I don't understand that. He kept on Jadeja. He kept on Siraj. I understand they want to be conservative with Bumrah. With his history, we just saw in the Sydney Test match he broke down. But if he's going to skip the second test, if India would have won this match, he would have not played the second test. So you should have just kept bowling him. Should have just bowled him. If he wins the test match for you and he gets a little niggle, well, you can rest him for the second test match. So I thought Shamron Gill's captaincy was poor. His captaincy with the field placements was very poor. I don't know why he has fielders trying to cover two slips. We saw two edges today, one from Stokes, one from Root, where you see fielders trying to cover both slips. So right of the keeper, trying to cover both the third and the first slip. Never going to work. Bad captaincy there. As a bowler, as I myself was a former bowler at the Premier League level, I would not accept that field. I wouldn't even try to bowl to that field. I wouldn't even be bowling. So God knows, I think it was Takul that edged the first one through those slips, and then I think the other one was Siraj. Why you would even want to bowl to that field, I've got absolutely no idea. But that was a huge opportunity missed for Shubman Gill, and it could have. It could have just helped them win the test match. The first innings catching was terrible from India, to be honest. That's unlike India. India traditionally are a very good fielding team. They're an excellent fielding team, actually. In fact, led by Virat Kohli, led by Rohit Sharma, always been excellent in the slips. Drysdale, he's had a poor test match with in the field, not so much with the bat. He made that fantastic 100 in the first innings, but with his fielding, he was terrible today. Don't know why you keep him in the gully. He had problems with fielding in the Australian series and the BGT series not long ago. For some reason, he can't pick up a cut shot. We saw with Labuschagne, a cut shot straight to Drysdale who drops. Ollie Pope, cut shot straight to Drysdale who drops. For some reason, he's just not picking those up. He's late to react to them. So probably not best to put him there, put someone else in there. So again, that's poor captaincy by Gill. Drysdale should be taking those. So they are 10 out of 10 dolly catches. There's no excuse for that. But why put a fielder there if you're struggling? So I don't understand that. You always put your best fielders. This is way I captain. This is way I think a lot of teams should captain. You put your best fielders in the right places. Your best fielders should always be in close, and the fielders you want to hide, fine leg, deep point, back, mid on, mid off, whatnot. So I thought his fielders were bad. I thought the fielding was bad. I thought the field placements were bad by Shubman Gill. Really poor test match with the captaincy. It is his first test match. Personally, I would have liked to see Bumrah. I thought Bumrah was fantastic when he captained in that Perth test against Australia. So, missed opportunity. But then again, Bumrah didn't really want it, and if he's only going to play 3 test matches, there's really no point, is there? But Gill has to learn that. I think, going back to the Ashes in 2023, Stokes said he was too defensive to Cummins and to Lyon. And there was like 40 runs to get. Gill, once again, way too defensive. Jamie Smith came in. Remember, Jadeja was bowling to him. So too many easy signals for Jamie Smith. Way too many singles. So maybe he needs to look at that, not be so defensive. He had runs to play with. In the end, I think he just gave up. He didn't bring on Bumrah. I don't know if Bumrah's injured. There wasn't any reports of him being injured. He just didn't bowl. So maybe they've just been ultra conservative. But like I said, if you're going to play him, and he helps you take 2 wickets and win this test match, we don't have to play him in the next test match, do you? You can rest him. So you might as well bowl him. So whether they play him this test match remains to be seen. I think ideally India would have liked to be 1-0 up and then rest Bumrah. If they lose that, it's 1-1. Play Bumrah again. If they win that, it's 2-1. rest him, so on and repeat. I think that's how ideally they'd like to do that. They're down 1-0, so probably they'll play him in the second test. Hopefully, win that second test, go 1-1, then rest him for the third, bring him back for the fourth. So rest him for the second, bring him back for the third and the fourth, see if they can win, go 3-1 up, and then rest him for the fifth, ideally. But probably that's now not going to happen now. But on just honourable mentions here to Rishabh Pant. He's the first player from India and England to reach twin hundreds, which means hundreds in first innings, second 100 in the second innings. Fantastic, absolute wonderful player. KL Rahul also scored 100. It's funny because they were both batting together. You saw KL just grind the bowlers down, grinding right like Pujara, Dravid type. Not comparing him to Dravid or Pujara, but the way he played the bowlers. And then you saw Pant just be explosive at the end and try to take down everything. So, Rishabh Pant was fantastic in this Test match. I felt like I'm actually over 10 minutes. I should wrap this up, but I'll say this before I do. I feel like India should have won this Test match. If India would have caught their catches in the first innings, Bumrah could have had 8 wickets. He could have had 8 for 20. There was 2 drop catches from Jaiswal. There was a no ball that Bumrah took off a wicket. He could have had 8 for 20. England could have got rolled for 60 in that Test match. In that first innings, could have got rolled. So you really need to take your catches. You really need, in the big series, you can get away with it. If you're playing Sri Lanka, you're playing West Indies, you can get away with it. Cannot get away with it with the top nations. Cannot get away with Australia. Cannot get away with it with England. Cannot get away with it in India. And just as we saw in the World Test Championship, Australia were poor in the field. They lost. So in the big games, you cannot get away with poor fielding. You have to take your catches when they come. Four drop catches by Jaiswal entire match. Exactly. So why is he in that gully field? Why is he in that gully field? That was by the boss man. Don't understand that by Shubman Gill. Don't know why he's there. Put him to the covers. Put him at mid on. I said just briefly, Marnus Labuschagne. He dropped Marnus Labuschagne. Same shot, that same cut shot. So it tells me he's not picking him up. He's picking him up very late. So why is he there? But England, they will go to the chase and then we'll wrap it up. Looked untroubled, really. Didn't really look threatening. Like India didn't really look threatening. And a couple of wickets fell due to Shardul. Took care Ollie Pope, and then got down not Jamie Smith. Who was he got down leg side? Harry Brook, sorry, when he strangled him down leg side. That was the only moment where England looked, probably some doubt, but England dominated that run chase, led by Ben Duckett and Joe Root. Completely dominated it. And as I said, it was a batting pitch. As the boss man wants to say, it was a batting pitch. That's baseball pitches for you. If you want to beat England in England, just like you want to beat Australia in Australia, you have to match the batting. You really have to match their batting. India did that for majority of this match, especially in their second innings with KO and Pant. But then they had collapse. Josh Tongue, as I mentioned earlier, Josh Tongue did not have a good Test match, but he cleaned up the tail. And India went with a bowling all-round option, and Tuckle didn't really contribute with the bat at all. So maybe you want to bring in an extra bowler, an extra frontline bowler. If a bowling all-rounder is not going to make runs, then what's the point of having a bowling all-rounder? Might as well get in a seamer. So England did not wag their tail in this match. Yeah, as we just mentioned, they added an all-rounder, mind you, a bowling all-rounder, but an all-rounder to improve their batting with Thakur, and it didn't work. So maybe they bring in a professional bowler. So because outside of, as we saw in the Australian series, outside of Bumrah, they really struggled. Really struggled. Siraj in the Sydney Test match, I thought was fantastic in that Sydney Test match when Bumrah went down. But again, first innings he really struggled. He lost his marbles a little bit. That's fine. That happens as a bowler. But second innings he was a little bit better today. Siraj a little bit better today. But you've got to do that consistently. You've got to do that all day like Bumrah can. Again, Mohammad Shami is a big miss. Because Mohammad Shami will give you that extra. That's like having two Bumrahs. Mohammad Shami will bring you control, but it's very hard to hit him because he's a seam bowler. Very hard to take down, very accurate. But we don't have Shami this series, so it's very tough for India to find some bowlers. Quick changes for the Indian team. Well, you can't really do much, can you? Do you bring in a Netich Reddy to improve the batting? Do you add in a professional bowler? I thought Reddy should have really played this Test match. He was fantastic. We can't forget his 100 in Australia. That was just a fantastic 100. So do you play him at 7? Do you improve that batting, improve the lower order? Or do you go with another professional bowler? I don't see Bumrah not playing. I think Bumrah plays because they're down 1-0. I think Bumrah plays. If they would have won this Test match, there's no doubt he wouldn't have played the second. I think he'll play the second Test match. Hopefully they win that and go to 1-1. Then they'll drop or rest Bumrah for the third Test and then bring him back for the fourth. So I don't think he rests. I think he plays. I'd bring in Reddy for tackle, just to improve the lower order. As the boss man mentioned, Netich Reddy made that 100 in Australia. Maybe you bring him in to improve it. But who knows? Who knows? I said I'd only do a 10-minute show. I've done a 20-minute show. It's now 3:30 in the morning in Australia, but stay tuned. We've got a lot of content coming up. We'll do a longer review of this game, probably with James Butler. We've got review of the West Indies Australia series coming up. So we've got two big shows. A question here from the boss man. Akashdeep instead of Parishta Krishna, sorry. I thought Deep was okay in Australia, but he's a seam bowler. If you're going to produce flat wickets, which baseball cricket will do, there wasn't much seam bowling this Test match. There's bits and pieces of it, but because the pitch is so flat, I think you need a swing bowler. So that's where I would go. But having said that, if you want to drop Taku and bring in Deep, so drop an all-rounder for an extra seamer, maybe you do that. Left arm, actually, okay. Left arm, okay. Yeah, again, maybe, but it's a fight. I think to beat England in England, you got to match their batting. You got to outscore them. And I just think India with 40 to 50 runs too short. So do you bring in an extra seamer? So you drop Thakur, bring in an extra seamer that can take a couple of wickets, or do you strengthen the batting to bring in Netich Reddy, who can make probably a 30 or 40, make that extra 30 or 40 that England really needed? It's a fine balance. Because I can tell you this right now. The second Test match up in Edgbaston will be flat. It's even more flatter than this one. Historically, the last 2-3 years, Edgbaston has been flat. It's been almost like a Royal Pindi road, very, very flat. And that's another place where you just got to match England's batting. They're going to score 4-5 4 or 5 runs in an over, so be it. But India, I think they just need to match, bring in ready, take out Thakur, bring in ready, because that pitch and Edgbaston is going to be very, very flat. Maybe bring in Kuldeep, maybe even Kuldeep for Jadeja. I don't think Jadeja was really this good with the batting anyway. Kuldeep is nowhere near Jadeja's level when it comes to batting. Let's make that very clear. But Jadeja didn't really contribute with the bat. But anyway, we will see. Anyway, I promised a 10-minute show. We did 20. How about that? But anyway, stay tuned. A longer review of the England and India Test one. Maybe with James Butler, we'll find out. And then I will be hosting the first Test match between West Indies and Australia. If you're wondering when that game starts, it starts tomorrow. It starts at 12 a.m. till 6 a.m. my time. So good luck with me for staying up till 6 a.m. I probably won't. I'll probably fall asleep at 4 a.m. and miss Steve Smith's 199, like I did the last time they went to West Indies. I think he was on 170 or 160 at the time. I fell asleep. I woke up and realised he was out on 199. The way it is with time zones, probably the worst time zone for an Australian to get is the West Indies tour. So, and then the pink ball match, pink test match, the day-night test match, which starts at 4 a.m. till 12 p.m. Australian time. So I've got to get up at 4 a.m. for that. So from the next month, I've got a lot of staying up to do and falling asleep at 4 a.m. and missing some good cricket. But anyway, that is today's show. As you can see, I'm very tired. But we got there in the end. This is today's show. Supposed to be a 10-minute review. You got 20. If I did go on for 10 more minutes, this would be a proper review. But yeah, we'll turn into an express review, but turn into a good review. But anyway, thank you for joining. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as we put here. My name is Coach Lucas, or Lucas, however you want to call me. You can add me on Twitter at R15Sky. On X, same thing with Instagram. Do not have Facebook. But anyway, thank you so much, and we will see you hopefully in 3 days' time for the review between India and England, but the long review, and the 5 days' time for West Indies and Australia first test. Stay tuned. Goodbye.